Recently I was looking for Hickory golf clubs online and found a posting for 6 Hickory clubs for $35. The posting only had one photo shown here, so I wasn't too sure what I was buying, but I couldn't resist for the price. When I picked them up they were in pretty decrepit condition, but I enjoy restoration and will show how they cleaned up throughout the duration of this video. The seller also mentioned that they belonged to his grandfather from Scotland, so it was neat knowing the story behind the clubs. Starting off is this Ben Sawyer spoon that has about 15 degrees aloft and looks to have potential as a play club. I started by removing the whipping and used a fine grit sandpaper to remove the old finish. I was shocked at how well this worked and retained the two-tone pattern perfectly. The patent numbers also became legible and I looked them up online and found it dated to December of 1925. The patent applied for here was for the grooves on the sole plate used to cut through turf. This was one of the many experiments happening with golf club technology in the Hickory era. Speaking of the sole plate, I removed it and polished it with quadruple zero steel wool which shines it up nicely. Flat-headed brass screws were pretty nightmarish to work with due to stripping, but I managed it after a while and reattached the sole plate. I then applied 3 coats of shellac and was once again delighted with how well it turned out. The head almost looks brand new after this process. I then added a suede leather grip and whipping and this club is now ready for play once the snow melts. This was probably my favorite restoration project so far. Next is an iron with no face scoring at all. It is likely from the 1890s due to its characteristics. All that remained of the original sheepskin grip was just a few inches hanging on by a thread. It appears to have about 40 degrees aloft, making it called a lofter. This club was very rusty, but it cleaned up decently after soaking in vinegar for a couple days. It did have quite a bit of pitting though, but that's pretty common when the rust is this thick. I was also able to find out this course in Montreal, Quebec opened in 1896 and is still in operation to this day. I reset the club head with epoxy, and it will be great for playing with in my pre-1900 set I'm currently building. There was another lofter pictured here that was also very rusty and probably dates to around 1900. All that remained of the markings was an L, which could either stand for lofter or ladies. However, this club was extremely light, so it's not very well fit for play. The shaft was fine though, so I'll save it for a different head in the future. Next is this mid-iron that again was too light for play, but was still happy to get a decent shaft out of it. I didn't bother doing much restoration due to this. The driver was unfortunately missing the horn, so I couldn't do much with it. It also has a few cracks in the head, so I'll reserve this one as a wall hanger. Lastly is this putter that the seller thought was an iron, which is understandable with the high loft these putters have. It cleaned up decently after a soak in vinegar and scrub with steel wool. This putter is a very heavy blade with an upright lie angle, which fits my wrist heavy putting stroke very well. It also has no offset at all, which is something I prefer to the bent neck putters that are very common in Hickory putters. I'll likely use this in my main Hickory set once I wrap a new grip on it. The only markings on it are glider and forged putter. I can't find anything online about that, but I would guess it dates to the 1920s based on the style. Overall, I was very pleased about my first online purchase of Hickory clubs as they were great clubs for the price. I also really enjoyed the restoration as these clubs really hadn't had any work done on them in 100 years. Thank you for watching this quick video showing my latest pickup, and let me know if you want more videos similar to this one in the future.